President Trump's Middle East envoys continued their tour of the region on this day as they try to hammer the final details of a possible peace plan.
Senior advisor Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law, Jason Greenblatt, and U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman, who was there, met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Their meeting comes in the wake of similar sit-down discussions with leaders in Jordan and Egypt. To discuss all this, let's bring in Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. And Craig, is this just these leaders getting up to date on where the Trump administration's mindset is, or is the Trump administration really about to unleash some details of a plan to restart peace talks?
Well, we certainly don't know what the details would be. It's been a very closely guarded secret, but it does appear that there's a timeline here inside the White House to try to unveil a peace plan and to begin conversations around that in the region. It's really quite fascinating because in the larger frame of an America First foreign policy, one might not expect the Trump administration to be doing this. I mean, there's relative stability between the Israeli-Palestinian situation compared to what it once was. It was once the #1 issue in the region. Now maybe it's the number 10 in terms of the potential for violence. So they're leaning into this for reasons that really only they know.
As we're all awaiting here and also in the Middle East for this peace plan to finally come forward by the Trump administration, do you recognize any strategy, clear strategy so far in regards to Israel and the Palestinians?
Well, there's been a remarkable, unmistakable difference about this administration, as you know, in fairness, in the campaign, the candidate Trump said there would be, with regard to this issue. For decades, the United States has maintained a kind of formalistic neutrality, and it was in some cases required to sort of turn a blind eye to the difference between truth and falsehood, the difference between right and wrong, in order to be neutral. The Trump administration has definitely not done that. They have taken dramatic steps like relocating the embassy, recognizing Jerusalem as the capital, and cutting aid to the Palestinians, withdrawing from the UN Commission on Human Rights in large part because of the way that body has treated Israel. So there's been a definite and strong tilt towards Israel, and the argument that the Trump folks make is that that actually clears the way for more meaningful peace negotiations, because it makes it clear where the United States stands on issues, and sort of takes certain items out of the realm of political theater. So we'll see whether that works and whether, in fact, they continue to pursue it. But that's what they've been arguing.
Yeah, and the flip side, as you've pointed out before, is that the Palestinians don't want to have anything to do right now with the Trump administration. So even if Israel, the United States, Jordan, Egypt are able to agree, even Saudi Arabia, on what the parameters might be to restart peace talks, does it really matter if the Palestinians don't want to have anything to do with this, don't even want to talk to the United States about it?
Well, it would, on the surface, it would seem like, you know, you can't have talks if one party to the talks, one crucial party to the talks, won't show up at all. But many people argue that the Palestinians just don't have the clout, just don't have the independence to be able to sustain disagreement with those Arab powers that you talked about, that they've relied on historically for money, for military support, and so on. And so I guess the Trump administration argument is that if they can get the regional powers, the Arab states, to put enough pressure on the Palestinians would have to come to the table and be reasonable. That's the argument.
And speaking of these Arab states that David just pointed out, to Jordan, Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kushner and Greenblatt, they also traveled this time to all of these states, including their visit in Israel. Do you think that at this point of time, the United States' relations with the Sunni, Arab, moderate or half moderate, if I'm talking about Qatar countries, is at its best ever?
Well, I don't know about ever, but it certainly has been a real focus of President Trump and his administration to have good relations with those countries, both because there's a perceived shared interest in containing Iran and dealing with what's perceived as a threat from Iran, and also because, as I was saying, there's a belief that those countries could be instrumental in helping broker a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. So there's an effort to do it. We know that there's lots of interest that those countries have in terms of things they want from the United States, things they want from the administration, and so there's certainly an effort at deal making going on here. Look, what this may all come down to is during the campaign, President Trump said that getting peace in the Middle East would be the ultimate deal, and he views himself as the ultimate deal maker. So it may be sort of irresistible to try to get something done here. Because if it would be successful, it would be historic and would sort of confirm what he has said about himself as being the ultimate deal maker.
Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. Craig, thank you very much.